Folks, I work for a railroad company, and I can tell you right now, the Class 1 railroads are going to go on strike soon. This is the beginning of something huge, something big. If this is 100% accurate and true, we really need to be prepared. This is not about getting prepared. If this is accurate and it's true, you need to be prepared. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. I have some urgent information that I wanted to share with you guys, and I'm not trying to alarm you, I'm not trying to scare you, I'm not trying to frighten you or fear monger, but this was just left on a post that Prepare for Survival had put up, and I had to stop what I was doing. Actually, I had to leave inside of Starbucks to come out here so that y'all could actually hear me because the music is so loud in there. But we were working on wrapping up a few things and getting some things out to you guys. But this came through as we were doing it, and she read it to me, and I thought that you guys really needed to hear this. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna get inside the van because it is starting to rain out here, and I'm not trying to get soaked. So let me get in here. Hopefully you guys can still see me. Let me get this door shut so you guys can see me. So I just want to share this with you guys real quick so you can have this information available to you. And this is going to be this is the beginning of something huge, something big. If this is 100% accurate and true, we really need to be prepared. This is not about getting prepared. If this is accurate and it's true, you need to be prepared. Tyler commented on Preparing for Survival's post just recently, and I got it here so I can read it to you. Folks, I work for a railroad company, and I can tell you right now, the Class 1 railroads are going to go on strike soon because the workers have been going without a contract since 2019. There's been no pay raises, no healthier or safer work environment, and railroad workers have had to deal with C-19 in 2020 and 2021 and inflation this year. The railroad companies have offered their workers a 16% pay raise, but the railroad unions are wanting a 36% pay raise, and I personally cannot blame them. This is from the comment. Since the railroad company and the workers cannot reach an agreement, you can expect a strike coming. And this is where it gets really disturbing. This is where it gets really worrying. This is where it gets really bad, which means there will be no rail traffic moving, no shipping containers, no fuel, no lumber or building materials or chemical material to make paper and plastic. When this happens, Class 2 and Class 3 railroads, meaning your short lines, will suffer and the industries will suffer. This will be 10 times worse than the trucker strike of the 1970s. It will also be the first time in 2 centuries that a railroad strike this bad will have happened. If you're wondering what Class 1 railroads are, what Class 1 railroads are there, here's the list. And he's got here CSX, Union Pacific, BNSF, Norfolk Southern, Canadian National, Kansas City Southern, Canadian Pacific. Again, when all these 7 of the Class 1s go on strike, the Class 2 and 3 railroads won't be moving neither, and there's not enough trucks to move the traffic commodities as we railroaders move. And that was the comment left for Preparing for Survival as she put up some recent footage that she had captured on our trip in relation to the railroad and possible union slowdown, and the fact that we haven't seen railroad trains moving while multiple mile long trains, double stacked, oftentimes just sitting. So she caught one moving, and she put up, maybe this was a good sign. But if what this comment is saying is true and accurate, and look, I hate it. I can't. The problem with the percentage amount of increase that the unions are requesting is, you got to understand this. There's two sides of this coin here. One it seems like a really high request. But two, they haven't received raises, I think, in at least 3 years. So if they had received them, they probably wouldn't have this situation that they have right now. Now, you take into account that they haven't received them for multiple years, how bad the economy is, how bad inflation is, how high interest rates are, and the anticipation of them continuously getting worse, and knowing that the railroads more than likely aren't going to be looking to negotiate anytime soon after negotiations conclude. Now, you have to account for the multiple years that you did not receive raises. You have to account for the current market conditions, the current state of the economy, potential futures, and you have to account for probably your next raise, knowing that it's going to be a struggle getting it after that. These are negotiation tactics, and you know you got to start a little bit high because they're going to talk you down. And I don't blame them for wanting to get an increase, because honestly, for me, if I was doing a job and one, I hadn't received a raise for multiple years and I'm doing my job to the best of my abilities, which I know I am because they're running off of a point system. So if you're still on the train, if you're still on the tracks and you still have points, then you're obviously doing your job correctly. So if I'm doing my job and I'm doing it to the best of my abilities, doing it correctly, and I haven't received a raise, that's one thing. But if I haven't received a raise and now cost of living expenses are so high, inflation is so high, the economy is so bad that I can't afford to live, I can't afford to feed my family, I can't afford, to fill up my gas tank, I can't afford to do anything, then there's no way I'm going to continue working for this company, regardless of whoever it is, regardless of whatever company it is. If I can't make enough money to survive, I'm going to have to go do something else. So I don't blame the railroad workers for trying to get raises. I don't blame them for trying to adjust for the cost of living increases that we have seen. I don't blame them for trying to negotiate above and beyond, preparing themselves for the future, knowing that they're probably going to get screwed over again, and it take multiple years to try to get back on track. You shouldn't be. I can guarantee you that when these railroad workers began working, they weren't working at a loss in comparison to what it costs to live. I can promise you that. So for them today to be in that situation and have to fight so hard just to have their pay and their salaries increase, maybe even to a point at which to match, on top of the railroad companies, for a fact, Warren Buffett's BNSF, Berkshire Hathaway, BNSF, for a fact, Union Pacific, CSX, for a fact, making record profits. And you're going to let our entire economy, you're going to let a huge portion of our supply chain, at least 30% of our supply chain, go down as these trains come to a halt, because you won't give these employees the raises that they deserve.